before we get started tonight, have a moment of silence for our dear brother, Shock G. He never met a hooker that could share him.
That's right.
Shock G, Digital Underground. Found Tupac Shakur. Great music, Humpty Dance. It was two characters. Music, and he played musical instruments. His brother was a genius. So, brother Shock G, rest in peace.
Yes. Hey, fat girl, are you ticklish?
Word up. So, guys, what's up, man? How was your week, brothers? What's up?
Everything good. I had an interesting week. A lot of things going on. I had to clean the garage finally. One of my main guys is down. Sarge is sick. Something's wrong with Sarge. He's got a really bad limp. My dog, yeah.
What happened?
He's got a really bad limp. We're trying to figure out what happened. We took him to the vet, and the vet says that he can't see anything wrong. Gave him a little bit of medicine, and sent him home. It cost me $300. So Sarge better get well very quickly.
That's good money.
Yeah. So other than that, but I think he's going to pull through. You know what I'm saying? But I wish I had some Flintstone vitamins. I could have gave him the Flintstone vitamins. I'm sure he'd be good. You know.
My favorite. What's your favorite flavor though, Flintstone? Anybody?
Now I don't know. I'll be honest with you.
Purple, brother. Purple.
The thing is, I was going to say purple. That was Dino, right? Purple was Dino.
Purple was Dino.
See, that's the thing.
Great. Yeah.
You guys have flavors. I knew them by characters. Dino was my favorite flavor.
Dino. Yeah.
Like with Kool-Aid, instead of saying grape, you say blue.
Yeah. Oh, you say red.
Oh, you say red. Yeah.
That's the proper flavor. Red is the flavor.
Red is the flavor. Yeah.
It's a wonder we all grew up with the crap we was eating back in drinking. I mean, it'd be like sugar. Just add water. Like
I used to go to people's house. They have Kool-Aid, and you would actually literally be crunching on the sugar in the Kool-Aid when you be drinking. You can actually crunch on it.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Those were the
Derek,
days, man.
Yeah, those are the days. Derek, how was your week, brother?
Brother, I'm good, man. Hey, just trying again. I'm still moving steady with the health thing. You know what I mean? Just trying to get out there. I missed the gym today though, because I got some badass kids, man. All right, so I just set them straight, man. You know they ain't listening. Their mother flies out, man. And I think some women could probably relate. Maybe some of y'all brothers too, man. You know, my kids. I could be in the house. They won't call me and ask me for permission. They'll call a mother to ask for permission. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm not even there. I'm like, I had to tell my son. I'm like, listen, I'm here. Talk to me. You know what I mean? Mommy said I can't do this. Mommy said I can't. I told you do it. You know, I'm listening. You know what I mean? It's crazy. She just completely. I had to tell my son. So wait a minute. Why can't you talk to me? What? So anyway, man, men, I guess, so you can see who the disciplinarian is. The main disciplinarian in the house is my mother. I mean, my mother. My mother. She act like my, you see what just happened? Because I'm remembering my own mother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the answer. I just answered it. They got it from me. There you go. You know what I mean?
With Derek trying to explain, they just edited that. That's not what I said. Yo, I'll tell you this. I've never been more tired than I have been this week. I've been working like a hostage this week. It's been crazy, man. It's been a lot going down, but I'm very, very fortunate whenever I can get with the Let's Chop It Up crew. This is the best group of men I've ever worked with in my life. And I just want to say to everybody out there, do not listen to the media talking about the crew has infighting, talking about, there's a lot of drama and stuff like that. They're not really cool. That's not true. We're the coolest people ever. Except when the commercial break come on, then it's on. But I had a really, really good week. Unfortunately, a very close friend of mine, my longest running friend, one of my longest running friends, his mom passed away. So we did her service on Friday. So, we get to that stage in life where our parents are moving on in a lot of cases. So, when you have your parents and we're right here up against Mother's Day, enjoy them and take care of them, because one day they move on from us. you know. But if you can stand up and be a man in that moment, then they did their job, and that's what it is. So, you know, just like to shout out my boy Orlando Young and his late mother, Mrs. Staten.
Peace to Mrs. Staten. Rest in peace, sister.
Thank you.
Yeah, sir. Man. Yeah. This week was cool. We had a health fair today at my job today, so we was hanging out over there, seeing the people in the community come out. If you follow me on Instagram, my name there, you see the people doing. We had Soul Train dancing, all kinds of stuff. So it was a cool week. Mm-hmm. It was a nice week, man. Just seeing the community, people just trying to get back to regular life. It was like nice. The weather was not too cold, not too hot. Today it ended my long, stressful week. Right?
Wait. Now, what neighborhood was this?
It's East New York, Brooklyn, baby.
Oh, because when you said the Soul Train line, I wasn't sure what neighborhood it was. But now, thank you, because I didn't want the people to be confused. But I got.
This is going down to Howard Beach. That Soul Train.
Yo, I was about to say, it's only certain neighborhoods you can do the Soul Train.
Right.
And you know what's so funny? You don't really even have to organize it. You just got two people. They already know what it is. Everybody get information.
Yeah,
like y'all know
that's it. Right.
And that's culture. That's what I tell people. Some people can't be invited to the cookout. They see us lined up. They don't know what's going to go down. So some people can't be invited to the cookout.
No American Bandstand up in here.
Oh, that's one thing I never liked the American Bandstand, bro.
Yeah.
Once the game went off and that shit came on, I went outside. I was like, it was time to go outside.
No, I'll be totally honest. The only time I watched American Bandstand was like when the rappers were on.
Yes, when they had Run DMC was the first one came on.
Correct.
They had Prince. I remember Prince came on.
Yeah, Prince
I
on
remember
there.
Jackson's 1977 with the light blue jumpsuits on. See, I had to take it back.
Yeah.
So basically, Ryan, you only watch it when the black people on.
Pretty much, yeah.
And they had no Latino artists back then.
No.
I can't remember anybody. When I think about it now, it's like they don't had nobody. I remember like that Latin invasion and all this other stuff. Like they just came. Like our people been there. Our brown people have been there. Y'all just get up on it. You know, it's insane. I remember Menudo came out when I was in elementary school.
The Latin new edition.
They were huge.
They were new edition. That was huge.
Yeah.
I remember they had the stickers on the books and stuff like that. And the girls would scratch their crotch and stuff like that, smelling.
New kids on the block too.
New Kids on the Block, word up. New Kids on the Block, word up.
That was the new edition knockoff, though.
That was the white new edition knockoff. That was. They had the same manager too.
The only difference was
they sure did. Yeah,
they had the same manager. Ripped them off. Well, I don't know if he ripped new kids off, but he ripped them black kids off.
Yeah. Oh no, they got their money. They got their money, but
Colt Jam, what up? That's right, Colt Jam. What's up, Lisa?
G.
I was about to say Colt Jam. That's our nickname. Sorry, but that's another subject anyway. So what's on the chopping block, brothers? Can we talk about this verdict happened in Minnesota? This slime ball shaving.
We talk about it. Definitely need to talk about it. I think there's a lot being said right now. Everybody's doing a lot of celebrating and all of this, and that's all well and good. But I think we need to just remember that this case was the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Like, if the bigger story is if he couldn't get convicted of this, then what's the point of even having a judicial system with regard to black folk? You know what I'm saying? Like,
let me ask you a question. Like, this is almost like the OJ trial. You almost remember where you at when you heard this, right? And what was your feelings? Let me ask you guys, what was your feelings 2 minutes before the verdict came out?
Well,
what was you thinking? How was you going?
Well, I think my issue with how I felt about the verdict is it just goes to show you how society has us feeling as African Americans. Like, you see a trial like that, you see something like that on video, and you're still worried about if he's going to get off.
Right.
That's what I was feeling like, and we shouldn't feel like that. We should look at it and say, "Yo, this is a slam dunk. It's obvious." You know what I'm saying? And something has to be done about it. Mm-hmm. But that's what I remember, like, wondering if he's going to get off. Yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kelvin. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Well, the way I felt was it was around 5 o'clock. Initially, they had announced that they'd have a verdict between 4 and 4:30 when I'm listening to the radio on my way home. So I'm stuck in traffic, and it doesn't come down to about 5 o'clock. Now, I just happened to catch it live. A couple of things went through my mind. One was, if this verdict does not go the way we hope it goes, we just knew every city in the country was going to be in trouble. And I just knew it was going to determine whether I went to work the next day or not. because it was going to go down. I know that. So I can't, for maybe selfish reasons, I was like, I hope that we don't have, because I didn't think after dealing with COVID and what we did with last year, I didn't think we could survive kind of, another, upheaval. It's just too much. And so that was one thing I thought about. The other thing was obvious justice. And we always feel like it's justice for generations past. You know what I mean? Now, one thing I've been thinking about is we do need legislation. My nephew made a good point talking about, we always popping bottles and stuff like that, but we got to make sure that the work is still done. There's still a lot of things that need to be happening because there's been incidents since this happened. So we got to make sure that those things, that we don't take our foot off the gas figuratively. That's the one thing that is most important. The other thing is this. What I realize is this. I kind of try to study the relationship that this country has with Black people, or in African Americans in particular. And the thing that amazes me, not to say a gay slur. Not to say something about Jewish people. I don't care what, not to do it. This is like the last frontier. This racial thing does not seem to dissipate. It just does not seem to dissipate. It just seems like, every generation, I was thinking about it. My grandfather dealt with this. My father dealt with this. My great-grandfather dealt with this. I'm dealing with this. My nephew is dealing with this. Your children are dealing with this. Why are we still dealing with this hundreds of years later? That's the thing that gets me, because I always try to ask people, because I talk to law enforcement that are white as well. And I always say, you mean to tell me, literally, if you take all these cases and you change the officers Black and the unarmed people white, that you guys would be okay with this? It would be different. People's jobs would be lost. People would be indicted. People would be going to jail. So that's the thing. So I think we have a long way to go. And unfortunately, every generation says the same thing, because we always still have a long way to go. And that's the thing that made me think about. So my emotions that day, seemed to be a little far more far-reaching than just that moment.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think Brad said it felt like Rodney King, and I think Lisa said it was, and she lived in Brooklyn. They was getting up barricades and stuff like that. It felt the same way. It felt like we went back to like 92, 93. It's the whole incident. Like, I remember even when OJ, I remember what I was wearing. I just got off work at FedEx. I was sitting on my couch when my man Katori came over. This one, I know where I was sitting at, but this one I knew. It's so funny. I felt that it was going to be guilty. Reason being, because I have a lot of criminal friends. And when you go to court and they came back with a verdict that quick, I was like, it's not like a hung jury was like, hung jury usually be a day or two trying to convince one juror to go the same way as the rest of the people, whatever. But this came back like, boom, they were like, nah, he's
D. I have to be honest. I felt that there were people in that jury box that did not want to see the country in flames. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I really believe that there were people in that jury box that knew if you did not come back with this guilty, that they were going to tear Minnesota up, New York, Chicago, LA,
everywhere. Bro, it went global the first time. It ended up in Germany. So you imagine everybody was watching it. So they do it. Now, do you think in June when the guy gets sentenced, if he doesn't get, the minimum gets 12 years, right? It's manslaughter, right? It's 12 years. Right?
Yeah, minimum 12 and a half years.
12 and a half years. So,
minimum. And the max is supposed to be 40 years.
So what people don't know, that's 11 years. That's basically because it gets good. It was good time. He'd be home in like 10 years, between 10 and 11 years, 10 years.
Wait a minute. Let me just say, just for clarity, because what my understanding was, there was 3 charges. One charge I heard had a max of 40. One charge I heard had a max of 25, and one charge I heard had a max of 10. So that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so it depends if they're going to run them concurrent or not, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's another thing.
Supposed to. I was shocked that he was. I'm going to say this too. I was shocked that he was evicted. That he was convicted on all 3 charges. That did shock me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like you brought up, D. It's going to be interesting what the sentence is going to be. Like you got the conviction, but let's see what the sentence is going to be.
Yeah. So we have to look at it like, I think what's happening is they have to really make an example. If ever there was an example, we need an example right now, because racism really is to me a national security issue as well. Because you don't have to, if you're a foreign entity, you don't have to attack America head on. You could do what China's doing right now, which is bringing up when we go and we try to talk to them. at the meetings, and they're like, listen, you can't talk to us from a position of strength anymore. Look at your racism problem. You keep talking about our human rights. Look at your issue with race. You know what I mean? So they know they can destroy us from within. So we got to get that thing together. And even our own military had that stand down day where they, of course, all branches, they had to stand down for a day and just talk about race. And of course, that didn't do. I don't think that was very effective. But we'll see. To me, it was more along the lines of an acknowledgement that something needed to be done, and that they are taking this, along the lines of a national security issue.
And here go my thing. I'm just tired of talking. It's about policy and making things change. We talk, we keep on talking. It's enough to talk. We already know it's an issue. This country's built on it. So it's like, let's stop talking. Let's really try to work on some policy changes type of things. Let me ask you guys this question though. So we're talking about if they split the baby and give him 25 years, do you think people will be satisfied?
Well, I think first people are satisfied with the conviction. I think there's a segment of the population that just wanted to see the fact that you're going to jail, that there was some recourse, that there was some repercussion to what he did, first of all. I do think people, given his age of 45 years of age, I think some people could live with 25. I think they could live with it. I think we just had a gentleman on last week that did 27 years for killing someone, inadvertently. This should carry more, especially with his law enforcement background. But 25 years, I think at large the community would accept that.
I too. I mean, the thing is, he's gonna miss his daughter's graduation thing. His daughter graduates from high school, something like that. He's gonna miss her prom and stuff like that. So I'll be happy with that. I mean, I myself, if you give him 25, I'm good with that. If you give him 10 is bullshit. Seriously.
Yeah, 25 or 10 to me doesn't begin to equal up to equal up to the crime to me. You know what I mean? But I think bare minimum it should be life. I think we should just be talking life. You know what I mean? But 25, I think that's well enough for the public to kind of, for things to kind of die down and some of the steam to be let off, and people will forget and move on to other things. People move on in another month, So
if he get 10, I think somebody gonna get to him in there.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, he's not gonna be in population.
I know, but I just think things have a way of happening.
He might get to himself.
Well, that's what they're worried about.
Allegedly.
That's what they're worried about.
I don't know. Jeffrey Dahmer might have been in population, but remember they got to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the John Gotti. I mean,
the thing is they don't put police officers in population.
Right.
I'm sure they don't do too well in general population. Yeah.
No,
they protect the custody, but damn that protecting custody is horrible. Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to talk about the sentencing and like how much I think he's going to get. I think that anything less than 20 is not acceptable. Yeah. The other thing is too, like when you're dealing with other people that have been convicted, they bring a lot of things into play based so they can figure out the amount of the sentencing. Like he has a clean record, you know what I'm saying? He was a police officer, so he's not a career criminal or anything like that. But I do think that they should take into consideration, because he was law enforcement, and that he should definitely know better than anybody not to do something like that. I think that he should get a 20 or over. That's just my personal opinion on the situation. Because the thing is, like, I mean, if you put your knee on somebody's neck for almost 10 minutes, I mean, what the result of that could be, which is what happened.
Right.
No, Mommy Priest, he won't go to a camp. That's like federal stuff, and he won't go to a low. It's called, and it got like he won't go to a low, which is like I played like my school. We played against criminal people in jail. So
no, he's not going minimum security. He's going to one of the fourth worst facilities they say in the country. Yeah. So
he's just going to be in isolation. He's going to be in isolation.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's horrible isolation. You're talking about 23-hour lockdown. Yeah. 1 hour for wreck. I mean,
you gonna do his whole sentence in isolation? Like that's not gonna work.
He got no choice. They got no choice.
Yeah, you're right. Because I don't think he can make it in general population.
No, but now never put a cop in population.
What do you guys?
Because someone's gonna kill him.
You got 3 more trials coming up, right? One starts in August. What do you guys thoughts? You think how many? Do you think they're gonna be found guilty? And then if you do, I mean, I don't even know what charges they got. To be honest with you, I can't even answer the charge. But do you think they're gonna be found guilty of the charges they are pending against them?
That's going to be interesting trial, especially for the officer that was standing in the street. The other 2 officers that were holding a leg down, I think it's you know, from my experience, I think it's different circumstances. You know what I'm saying? The officer that was standing in the street, he was more seasoned. He should have basically took action and went over there and told Chevin to take his knee off his neck.
The Asian dude,
Asian officer, yes. So I think that he should do more time if he's convicted, considering the other two that were new, because I understand the culture of police department. And like I told you, when you're a rookie, basically the culture teaches you to stay in your place.
Okay. So, all right. So other news is another shooting moments after the announcement of the guilty verdict in Ohio. And before, it was a young lady, 16-year-old, got shot. Before we go and start talking about it, Jamie, can you please play the video?
Off Chatterson Road in East Columbus. The officer, who hasn't been identified, arrives and you can hear him ask what's going on. You don't hear him on the body cam video identify himself as a police officer. Now take a look at the girl in the black shirt near the car closest to the garage. That's Micaiah Bryant. This is 6 seconds into the body camera video. It appears she lunges at one of the other girls, pushing her to the ground. The officer then pulls out his gun and shouts to get down. Bryant then gets up and approaches a second girl in pink. You can see Bryant pulls back her own arm and it appears she has a knife in her right hand. The officer fires his gun. That's 11 seconds after he arrived at the scene. Moments after the shots were fired, you can hear the officer say, The body camera video shows officers go to Bryant's side and check for injuries after she falls against the lighter car. Local for you, Karina Chung, NBC4.
Well, I'm sorry that the young lady lost her life. Truly tragic and everything like that. Rodney, I will go to you as your expertise in this field of work and the police department. What do you think the police department will say about this shooting here?
Well, I'm going to show you a little trend before I give my answer on that. I'm going to show you a little trend when it comes to police video where the shooting is considered justifiable. You see how they released that video right away so that they could calm the public about it. From my expertise, she was using deadly physical force against somebody else. And the officer, when someone is using deadly physical force, his job is also to preserve life. And under the guidelines of the police department, that's a justified shooting. The thing is, if we ask that young lady in the pink what she thinks about it, I'm sure she'll have similar views, because in my opinion, that officer saved the young lady in the pink's life, possibly, or serious physical injury.
I agree. And this is the thing that's trending on social media and like Clubhouse on the black, and I see some of these celebrities come out talking about black men are not coming to the aid of this girl. And it'll come to the aid of black women, not just girls, black women. I said, we came out for Breonna Taylor. We came out for Sandra Bland. I'm going to go way back to Eleanor Bumpus. This was a little different. And people know me. I'm super pro-black. I didn't even jump out and show this video. I didn't jump out and say, yo, for this young girl. Because I tell people, somebody's going to lose their life that day. Either the girl in the pink was going to lose her life or get very body harm, or that young lady with the knife. If that was your daughter about to get stabbed, all the people that say we don't come out, what would you want to see done? And that's what, like, I'd be happy my daughter was alive that this officer shot this girl, because my daughter would probably most likely have died, to be honest with you. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I agree, D. I tell you another thing too. Like we got enough bad shootings, or unjustified shootings by police officers that we can talk about. You know what I mean? I don't want the black community to allow the media to make fools of us. You know what I mean? The thing is, yeah, there's a lot of shootings. This thing is trending now. And let's face the facts. I mean, sometimes there's situations where other people's lives are at stake. And the police job is, their job is supposed to be to save life and preserve life. And that's, in my opinion, that's what happened that day. It's terribly unfortunate. And like I say, very unfortunate, 16-year-old girl lost her life. You know what I mean? But she possibly could have took somebody else's life.
And I totally understand when people saying like white men get of the chance with the guns and knives and stuff like that when they're coming at people, and they like the white boy in Wisconsin's walking down the street with the gun and everything. But this, I'm trying to say, I understand it, and you're right. but this young lady was about to take a life. She was going to get either 25 to life and her own life going to be gone. She would have murdered that young girl or some kind of bodily harm, or she was going to lose her life. And what if she would have missed with that knife and the girl took the knife and stabbed her anyway? So somebody, but to me, at fault was all adults around from the beginning.
Yes. Yo, that's what I'm saying. And which one of those girls was not black? That's what I'm trying to figure out. You know what I mean? They say, like, you know, you start talking about, oh, you know, men don't, you know, stand up for women. You know, we don't stand up. Like, they're both black girls. They're all, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that. We can throw that out. But yeah, where are the adults, man? You know what I mean? Like, why did he even get to that point, man?
For what I understand, the father might have been there, and also the young man that kicked the girl in the head. There, what did Masali just say? I'm sorry. Yeah, Masali wrote something.
With all of the witnesses who also failed these young ladies, exactly. Why didn't they stop them before it escalates to that? A guy also kicked another girl in the head. They all failed them.
Because I think as a community, we are oftentimes very reactive and less proactive, and we're very, very good after the fact. And it makes no sense. I mean, we've got to learn to de-escalate situations. You know, the temperature in the world is turned up so much. I mean, you know, the sad thing is this: there's not one story that can come on. This is the real sad thing. There's not one story that can come on the news that will shock you. There's not one thing. The other day, I heard a story of a woman literally killed her children. I think it was 3 of them. She killed all 3 of her kids because she felt that the father was abusing them. She said,
I saw that.
What I'm saying is, she killed 3 of her children. I heard that story and didn't think about it again the next day until just now.
Yeah. That's
the sad part. That's where we are right now. That the world has gotten to this point. And whatever the situation was, there's no winners in this. That 2 young ladies at the point where I'm not talking about a fight. I'm not talking about some hand-to-hand, you and I. I'm talking about you really willing to take a knife and take it there. And then you see law enforcement come. You see law enforcement come, and that still doesn't calm you down. I've always believed, I've always said this, there is one person, somebody in your corner or your camp that should be able to calm you down. If I'm outside, I got a 23-year-old nephew, and he's about to get into it. If I call him off, I expect him to listen to my voice. I expect him to stand down as his uncle. If I call him and tell him to stop, I expect that. And I'm sure you all as fathers expect the same thing, that you recognize my voice and my authority in your life, that you should respect me enough, and I should be able to have a relationship with you to call you off. And I agree with Masali. They failed these kids, and there are no winners in this situation.
Kelvin, I literally had that same exact conversation with my son today. My middle son, I said, listen, I'm not like your mom. I'm not going to jump off. You know, she likes to, you know, she is the disciplinarian, right? So she raises her voice and she really gets at him. And I said, I'm not going to do that because I have to prepare you for a different kind of thing. You know what I mean? The world is not going to jump up and down and, you know, make you stop. I said, you know, when you hear me raise my voice, you need to do what I need you to do. Right? So when I talk to him, even though I'm angry, and I was angry with him last week, I said, son, you notice I actually bring my voice down when I talk to him when I get tired. You know, when I get angry with him. I actually get quiet and get close. When I raise my voice, I need you to move. You know what I mean? It's because it's like, it might be life and death, you know, and it's unfortunate, you know, that I don't know who the men are, what they're doing in these young women's lives, you know, and parenting is a difficult thing, and there's no handbook. You know what I mean? So, it's so, and as we know, so is growing up and being a black man. No handbook to that either. You know, that's a difficult thing. So I don't know. I just hope it's man.
And Rodney, let me go to you on this part again. Now, people saying like, oh, the cops have de-escalation tactics and those, or have a social worker. I want to bring people into a heated, when something's that hot and heated, it's hard. There's no de-escalation. I don't think that can, when somebody has a knife coming at someone that you can use. A social worker can't say, hey, let's be peace. I'm not dissing social workers. I love social workers. The background, all my closest friends are social workers. But it's like, what people don't understand that. Can you walk people in? What happens in those kind of moments? Like,
the thing is, like, you know, you got to put yourself in kind of like both situations. Like when the police pull up on a scene and the scene is out of control, you don't know who's going on or whatever. So basically, when that officer's arriving on the scene, he sees somebody with a knife. He's not a counselor, and he's not a mediator at that point. The bottom line is the only de-escalation he's going to be able to do is stop that threat. You know what I mean? I was on social media just the other day, and I saw somebody say, "Oh, she called the police, and look, she got killed." So the thing is, I don't know if she called the police. I don't know who called the police. And usually, 9 times out of 10, when the police arrive on the scene, they don't know who called the police.
Yeah,
they just basically gave them an address. They're told what kind of job it is, and basically, if there's any descriptions that were given over the air through 911, it gets transmitted to them. But most of all, they're responding to basically some sort of dispute, you know. But when they get there and they see certain things, yeah, they're gonna take action. That's what the police do.
Yeah.
You know. Now the thing is, if you're gonna take things into your own hands, then I probably would recommend don't call the police. You know, because the thing is, you can't do both. You can't take things into your own hands and then call the police. So then when the police get there and see you taking things into your own hands, guess what they're going to do? They're going to consider you that threat, and they're going to eliminate that threat. Period.
Yeah. Right.
But
Rodney, what about the people who say, well, could we have shot her? Couldn't she be shot in the hand or the leg or something like that? Like, what's the possibility of that? Why didn't she get shot in the leg or something?
Well, the thing is, you know, they teach police officers to shoot center mass because it's the largest part of your body, right? And all your organs are in the center of your body. So it's basically, if you hit somebody in the chest, center mass, it's to stop the threats. Hands move, legs move. You can't hit, you know, the average cop is not even, you know, getting like a 70 at the range when he goes to train for shooting. You know what I mean? They're not trained. They're not putting marksmen out on the street. What I understand that this particular officer's background, he had a background in marksmanship. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that's TV stuff. They do not teach the police to shoot for hands. They do not teach them to shoot them in the leg. They teach them to shoot center mass.
People got to understand. They teach no law enforcement, no military to shoot arms and legs.
Correct.
You can't shooting a gun out of a hand, the knife out of hand is BS, people. I just want to keep it so real with people. They do not understand that's very rare to happen. Very, very rare to happen.
And then the thing is, you shoot somebody in the hand, right? Bullets travel, you know, but especially at that close distance, the bullet can go through your hand and hit an innocent bystander that's sitting on their porch or their steps.
Yep.
Because it's a small piece of flesh. A bullet can go straight through a hand and continue traveling down the block.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll say this. I think one thing that we have to recognize, and I know people hate this discussion, but the reality of it is this. There are certain things that have been done to us unfairly, and then there are certain things that have been self-inflicted. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we need to blend all of them together. You know, not every officer is out to like cause harm to black people, and not, you know, I know plenty of people that did stuff that they deserve to go to jail for, and this, that, and the third. So we just need to make sure that we don't just every time it's a shooting of a person in our community that we think it's a shoot that was done maliciously or done vindictively or something like that. And I think we do have to take time to receive it. As I keep saying, obviously there's just no winners in this situation. You see young people, I mean, you know, to be a teenager and your life hasn't even really started yet and feel like we lost. And the question is over what?
Yeah.
Like what was the biggest issue that y'all out there fighting for? You probably don't own nothing. Y'all teenagers, this, that, third, you ain't even graduate yet or whatever the case is. What is the big issue that you out there will? And see, that's the thing that I get. Like we'd have, you know, I looked at when I was a kid, you get bullied by somebody, they put you in a headlock or try to make you cry, whatever. This thing about possibly killing you or arming you or drawing blood or whatever, I don't get it. That's the thing that gets me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And things like I said earlier, you know, like, yeah, this is trending. There's a lot of police shootings and a lot of unjustified police shootings. And I've said on this show my honest opinion of when shootings are unjustified. And I'm sure I'm going to continue. And I'm sure we're going to talk about something else later on today that I'm going to give my opinion on. That's going to be opposite of what I just said about this one. Yeah. You know, I think the media is like, people are getting caught up in social media, the media, and everything is just like another person unjustly shot. You know, and it's not the case. This is not the case.
And speaking of another shooting, and I don't want to spend too much time. We're gonna get the show to get funny and stuff like that. But I want to spend too much time on this. But just for people that know, another black person got shot in Elizabeth, North Carolina, by sheriff's deputies. And I just want to put a little detail. I believe that he got shot in the back. Am I correct, guys? Rodney? I think
that's what they're saying. They're saying he's possibly been shot in the back.
And so, Rodney, not spend too much time on it. So a person gets shot in the back with no weapon, fleeing from the officer. I'm getting tired of black people getting shot, fleeing away from stuff. Fleeing from an officer. What kind of shooting do you think will, right now, we don't know yet. It's kind of early. What do you think will happen?
First of all, you're not supposed to shoot anyone fleeing, especially in the back, unless they have a gun and maybe they're firing over their shoulder or something like that. But that's not the case in this. But the facts haven't come out. And like I said earlier, you see with this shooting with the 16-year-old, they got the video out quickly. This North Carolina shooting, the video has not come out yet. But you have, I think you have six officers already on leave, 1 retired and 2 resigned. I mean, it's kind of, it's kind of showing that this is probably most likely going to be an unjustified shooting. And they're claiming they haven't released the video due to the fact that they say it has to be court ordered. It gives the police department time to get their narrative in order. That's what they're doing. So when, like I said, when you see people already in trouble, already resigning, another thing too, I don't know about other states, but I know in New York City that if you got an open case or you got a case that might be suspicious, you're not allowed to retire until that case is closed. But from what I understand, one of the officers already retired.
So we got this something that people we're gonna follow up on this story. Definitely gonna follow up on this story. So I want to get to something else. In Perth Amboy, New Jersey, these young black guys were riding bikes. The cops seized their bikes and it said, "Where's your license to ride a bike?" I don't know if this happens to white kids. I just don't know. A license to ride bikes. Now they came from, I believe they came from Edison, New Jersey. For people who don't know, that's a long ride to get from on a bike. And they took the kids' bikes for no apparent reason. They wasn't robbing people. They was just riding their bikes. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
I don't know the law in New Jersey. I don't know if you need a license to ride a bike in New Jersey.
Bicycle. Let me sure people. Let me clarify that. A bicycle, not a pedal bike, 10-speed, whatever, mountain bike, whatever, road bike, whatever, track bike, whatever it is.
Well, see, my thinking is this: you usually need a license to operate a motor vehicle.
Correct.
That's the thing. Okay, so I've never heard that. I mean, there's certain places where they don't want you riding bikes on the sidewalk where pedestrians are. So let me just say this with full disclosure. I'm not a Jersey person. Jersey has townships, and each township has kind of like their own set of rules and things like that. I had a cousin that lived in Perth Amboy. His wife lives there now, so I don't know much about it. But when it comes to Jersey, I'm not surprised because Jersey, again, a lot of people. I mean, I had a friend who was military, and they locked him up because his registration was expired while he was in Iraq, and he got to change it. So Jersey is a different animal. But as far as the bikes are concerned, one thing I remember being a kid, and we'd ride to different neighborhoods just exploring, genuinely just wanting to just see what other things were. That was the thing. Get out your neighborhood and go somewhere else. You see a group of young black men and stuff like that, you're going to have somebody that calls the cops. It's going to somebody that draws attention. And you have these cops sometimes that will come not recognizing that these are just kids and they don't mean anything. They're just out there exploring. And sometimes they're overzealous. But again, to Rodney's point, I don't know. I've never heard of someone getting a ticket for a non-motorized vehicle or needing a license for that. That makes no sense for me. And I wish they did in New York and Manhattan when they be clogging up lanes and stuff like that, all these bikes and stuff like and nobody paying no insurance or registration fee like I'm paying in the car. And I got to slow down for you in a lane. I'm talking about the pedal bikes too, where they be riding around, riding couples around, but no. D, to make a long story short, the end of speculation, when you black, things just gonna be different. I mean, just might as well recognize it. So you know what the rules of the game are, but we just got to be prepared to deal with them and know. And the other thing is, I think if I can admonish every person out there, especially younger people, know your rights.
Yeah.
Know your rights. Yeah. Know your rights.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to a little 90-second break, guys. Jamie, can you take us into commercial real quick? Thank you. Sponsors come back. I ain't say nothing crazy yet, so we still have sponsors. But with that said, Usher Raymond. Usher. My voice ain't gonna be on this mic. Usher Raymond. People were allegedly thinking Usher Raymond was trying to jerk the strippers by throwing fake money with his face on it. So what come to find out, it was for promotion. So Usher was people all over social media getting our brother Usher Raymond. But hey, that shit was a kind of bag. I'd have been out there tricking that shit too. I'd have made it rain with my own face on it. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'd have been tip drilling and all kind of stuff. Yeah. So you know, what's your thoughts on Usher Raymond, man? Anything, man?
So that's what they were talking about when they said he was giving out Usher bucks.
Usher bucks, yep. Usher bucks for the butts.
So what is he promoting?
I don't know. I have no idea what's wrong. That's the thing. I don't know.
Then that's not a great promotion.
Yeah. We don't know what he's promoting. Then what?
I don't even know. Maybe he's coming out with an album. I know they was trying to get him to do him and Chris Brown to do a verses, but I don't know. I don't know what he's promoting. That's a good question. He was in Vegas.
Were the ladies in on the promotion?
I don't think some of them were. I'm not sure because the way they was reacting. They
okay, so let me get it straight. So the ladies don't know, the consumer doesn't know. So yeah, the promotion doesn't seem like it worked out then. It just doesn't. No. Yeah.
Or it was the bullshit, and he really was trying to get over on him and not spend his own money.
But to Rodney's point, Rodney always says that any publicity is good publicity. So we're talking about Usher right now, and it's been a minute. So
correct. You know, whatever his intentions were is working. Because, like you said, we're talking about it right now. But I'm sure he was probably in there throwing fistfuls of dollars, and the girls probably were going crazy until they realized that the money wasn't real.
Oh, right.
You know but they knew it was Usher, so they figured it was real. It had to be real. Yeah. So they don't even thinking about it. Don't even look at it twice. You know.
And you know, in strip clubs, not that I've been in any recently. I mean, it was a long time ago. Long time ago. But they're pretty dark. They're dimly lit in those places. Dark. You know. So,
and then there was the old hustle. I'm not going to tell you, but you know, we know it was people were handing off counterfeit bills a lot in the stripper club. So that's kind of what you would do, you know.
No, we can say it there. You say people used to go in there and wash money. That's
people used to go in there and wash money. Exactly.
Yeah. Listen. I'm throwing counterfeit bills because they got counterfeit tits. We gonna fake for fake.
Fake. You got a fake butt. So fake money. Yeah.
On that note, we want to have.
When you stop faking, I'll stop faking.
Exactly. We come in with the same energy. You bringing that same smoke.
Yeah, same thing, same energy. Yeah.
Just everybody direct your emails to Rodney.
Listen, I've been in strip clubs. I had to throw change. 10 cents.
Not reflective.
Some of them girls worth no damn bills now. Those some horrible girls.
No, you got to be careful throwing change in the strip club because somebody could lose an eye.
Oh,
somebody get hit in the eye with a dime or something, a nickel.
Some of them are dancing without eyes. I was trying to help them out. You know what I'm saying?
So, we took a turn. We took a left turn somewhere. I don't know where. We took a left turn.
All right, I'll bring it back some new. So
strippers, they work hard.
I bring it back some. All right. So this slime ball, Ted Nugent, tested positive for COVID. I think he's a singer, some garbage. I don't know, some old white man. You know, he believed COVID wasn't real. Don't wear a mask; it'll keep you enslaved. And I'm not taking the vaccine. Now he got the virus, and his man Donald Trump, he was ripping and raving about. He got the vaccine on the low. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on this slime ball? I almost called him something else, and now I probably lost my job for that. But go ahead.
It couldn't happen to a stupider guy, man. You know what I mean? It was right on time. I mean, karmic justice right there, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everything, what else could happen? It was perfect, man. It was perfect. God is
I just wish some of these slime balls would just die from it. I mean, honest. I'm sorry, Kelvin. You can pray for me later on, throw some holes of water on me. But I really wish they would. I was praying for Donald Trump to check out. Oh shoot! Damn.
You got the scroll twice.
Luckily, D, you said that after the commercials.
I know.
Right. Yeah. I knew he was on probation. I knew he was on. Listen, he can't be reformed.
The Facebook, I'm gonna be in jail again.
Well, let me tell you something. It's something I talked about this week. I was having a discussion, and our natural inclination is to want to do to other people what they've done to us and things like that. This thing about not wearing masks and all that stuff like that, it seems to be such an act of defiance and an act of like entitlement, an act of
stupidity too,
and an act of stupidity and things like that. And it's unbelievable. And yeah, life has a way of humbling you, and life has a way of just having thrown a strange, ironic curve to people.
It's called karma. It's called karma.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's what it is. And so to do that, I mean, like Eddie Murphy told us in Delirious, you just brought that on yourself. You brought it on yourself. I mean, there's no other way around it.
Yeah. I wish they would die. I ain't gonna lie. I would, no, really, because I'm. You know,
Rod, you saw how I tried to.
You tried to clean it up.
They said America's gonna be brown by 2035. Can we just have it in 2022? Can we microwave the color of this country? Bring it back to the brown.
Wow. You tried, Kelvin. You tried.
Yo, it's funny because he waited too. He's like, yeah, that's a good point. But I wish they would
die. I'm gonna say this shit again. I wish they would die.
What Samuel Jackson in that movie? And when he killed him, time to kill. Yeah, man. So, but also, in other news, man, this is some crazy stuff, man. In Texas, right? This high school, it was a Snapchat challenge. They had a slave auction going on in Texas. These kids, they were showing like certain kids if their hair wasn't right. The white kids were doing it to black kids, and they was having a Snapchat like say kid was worth $1, other kids worth $20. Like, what is going on in Texas? What's going on in school? I mean, you know how they already juked the books and history books down in Texas.
Well, you did say Texas, correct?
I did say Texas.
I can't.
Okay, then say no more. We're talking about Texas here.
Yeah.
You know, if Texas could, they probably would still be lynching people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right, yeah. They got.
They still think they're cowboys. They still think they're
suggesting that they stopped.
No, I ain't suggesting that they stop, but I mean,
good point, Kelvin.
Yeah,
good point. Yeah,
but they still think they think they're cowboys down there and stuff. You know, they still walk around with shit kickers on and all that stuff. You know, time ain't changed down there. They all their watches and their histories and their calendars, they're all broken. You know,
there are pockets in this country. There are pockets all over where I mean, you know where the lines are drawn.
Mm-hmm.
I know where the lines are drawn on Long Island. Growing up in Massapequa, I know. I mean, literally, like it was painted on the ground. We knew once you cross this block, you cross the Massapequa Fire Department, that building, and then it's on right then. And you always know. That's what it was.
That was just the reality. And you I grew up, like I said, with Long Island guys, man. We just kind of knew, what to expect, at certain parts of the town, you know what I mean, in certain areas, and it's so funny. We never really thought growing up, I didn't think of it as being racism or anything else, you know what I'm saying? It was just kind of like, what you over there for? You know what I mean? And they just kind of, it was just, and then not to say we didn't have conflicts, there was all sorts of conflicts that happened, but, it was just, you just kind of left things alone. You just kind of knew how far to take things, how to kind of finesse the culture or the situation of your life, and you just, it's like weather, man. You just knew how you had to dress for it. You just knew how to
exactly.
And speaking of more racism, there's a restaurant in New Jersey. These brothers are wearing. They came to sit down and have some lunch and dinner, spend their hard-earned money on a European establishment, and they was wearing sweatpants. So first of all, they thought, okay, they said people said it's crowded. They go outside. They figured you got to sit outside. Now, some white gentlemen come along wearing sweatpants and shorts. They let them sit inside. Not the crowd changed moments later. What would you guys? Now, my thing is about spending our money anymore. What's your guys' thoughts first on that situation? How would you guys handle that restaurant?
Did they approach the person that turned them away?
Yeah, they went back and said something to him.
Oh, good. They put it on social media too, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Then it's like me and Kelvin always say, hit their ass right in the pockets, shut them down.
But what was the explanation that they were given?
I think it was saying it was outside, and then some of them. I forgot what the explanation was. I know it was about the outside part. That was it. They saying it was crowded, but it wasn't. It was the same. It was only moments later.
I've been in a situation. I don't know. I don't think it was exactly the same, but I've been in a situation in Manhattan once. Some friends invited me to a pool hall years ago. And I get to the door by myself in Manhattan. People, the bouncer or whoever would not let me in. And back then it was the velour Sean John sweats. Remember those?
Yeah,
that's what was fire, son. That's what was fire.
I'm mad those went out too. I had the black velour Sean John, right? Dude was like, nah, you can't come in here with that. So I called my friend.
Did you tell him that this was Sean John? You said, you know this is Sean John, right?
He's like, what? The designer's black too? You really can't come here.
Now you can't come in here.
Now you gotta go in the back and watch this.
So I called my friend. I called her like, they said I can't come in. She comes to the door. He's with us. So I was like, blah, whatever. She's a black woman. I'm in. All right, go ahead. I go inside. There had to be 10 people with the same thing with different colors on, and I'm like, wow, it's just one of those things. And again, I don't think we need to be in a position where we need to beg anybody for validation. Whatever your situation is, if it's a private place, then I won't come in. I will never spend money there. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna just say this. I'm big on a boycott. I was raised with parents that are big on boycotts. I will boycott somebody over a misunderstanding. Like, I'm really serious. I'll put it to you like this. And this is just my personal thing. It's not widespread against anybody. So when I state the name of this place, I'm not saying for everybody else to try to do whatever. I'm just telling me. My nephew came to me when he was in 10th grade and said he didn't like the way he was being treated at 7-Eleven. He said the way they treat kids that look like him, they treat different than the other kids from his school and everything like that. That had to be 5 years ago. I have not been in a 7-Eleven since then. That is just who I am. I have not been in one 7-Eleven since then. I used to go to this mobile gas station all the time. I go there one time and I have 2 young people with me. And you know how you'll have like the little Slurpee or whatever it is, and they take a sip out of it. Once they realize they like it, then they go fill the thing up. The guy accuses them, oh, y'all drunk the whole thing and then filled it up again, which they didn't. And I'm saying, all right, sir, these are kids. You know what I'm saying? They're with me. Like, stop addressing them. I'm the adult, address me. Whatever. No, I saw them do it, whatever like that. I used to go there every time. I used to go there for 20 years straight. I have not been in that place in years. And that's just what I am. So I said all that to say this. When it comes to award shows, when it comes to businesses, the one great thing about this country is competition. And if you don't want my money, I'll take it somewhere else. But I will not pay to be treated second class. That I'm not having.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny, Monique.
Yeah, I got an issue with places. Like, I won't go into a place that searches you.
Yep.
Yeah, if they search you, I ain't going in there. I
got one better for you, Rodney. Go to Jamaica Avenue when you go shopping. They gonna take your bags, and you gotta. Am I right?
Yeah.
No, I haven't stopped on the Avenue, but you're right. I remember that.
Yeah, they used to take your bags.
Yeah.
And they have to hold them while you're there. And my point is, if you have people stealing, you hire security. Because you think I gotta come in here. I'm so close. I barely go to these places where you gotta pay for parking, like a meet or something, just to support. I'm really trending on that, because to me, if I support your place, you should provide parking, or I shouldn't have to pay for it. So I'm anal with it. I'm telling you, I'm serious like that, because money don't come to me easy. So when it does come, I'm careful where it goes out to. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. My wife went out with her girlfriends. She came back and she was furious about how she went out to lunch, or I think it was dinner, with her girlfriends, and the place charged everybody $20 to park.
Wow.
Yeah. She said, I'll never go back there again.
No.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, you're right. It's right, Kelvin. You're going in there to spend money. And they went in there because it was like about 5 or 6 of them. They went in there and dropped like $500-600.
Right.
And then the thing is, and then on top of that, everybody had to pay $20 for their car. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
No, I don't do it. I'm not trying to hear that.
My husband is still rocking his Sean John.
I can't front.
Send us a picture.
Who determines when this stuff is played out? Because that stuff was good stuff.
It was good.
It was good.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now. Me and D used to stay in the Sean John section in Macy's. Stay up in there.
Yeah,
we were big dudes, so it was like the stuff that fit us the best, you know.
Yeah, word up.
But I used to love me some Sean John.
Oh man,
I tried to get my son on it. Try to get my son into it. He said, "Daddy, you crazy? All this stuff is too big. We can't wear that."
Oh yeah, they go the opposite way now. Yeah.
Fubu had a run. Fubu had a minute. Who's the urban leaders now for clothing?
That's a good question.
So we started with Cork and I, right? We had Cork and I for a minute.
Like a lot of the scoot rappers, they got clothing lines too and stuff, but it's not something we would wear though.
Do we have any masculine clothing line?
Yeah.
No.
Not saying I've seen theirs. I'm just assuming. But
I don't know. Like I've seen T-shirts and stuff. Like I said, I got teenage
nice blouses and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they got those. You know.
They got men wearing blouses and one piece jumpers.
Yeah. I'm sure they got those.
Blouses.
Yeah, blouses.
Gucci,
rocking a man bag with it.
Oh my God.
Now the thing is, how is it a man bag? To me, that's a pocketbook. I don't understand that.
It does sound like the contradiction. I got it.
Yeah, it is. It's a pocketbook. It's not a man bag. There's no man bag.
Right. Yeah, I can't front. Wallet goes in a pocket to me, but
yeah,
I'm scared to say something. I might get called an HR.
You know what, D? I think I'm
going to do it.
Don't do the job, bro. Because you know what I'm saying.
I know. You retired, right? I know. I need it. I got it.
Yeah. You know, I can. Don't do it, D. Don't do it.
Yeah. I got a few more years of child support. So
this is my friend Marsha just asked. It's water in the cup, Marsha. It's water.
That's Jesus juice.
Yeah.
Don't be storytelling out here, man. You know.
That's funny.
Put your finger in it, turn it to wine.
Hilarious, man. But no, back to the boycott though. That's where I'm at right now with business. And it's time for us. And I mean, if we stick together and put this money together and pool it, forget it.
Yeah. No, you're right. Listen, Kelvin, like I said before, the cleaners on my block, they try to charge me 10. They messed up my hem and my pants, so I sagged my pants. I was like, bro, I'm a grown ass man. I'm probably older than you. And I took them to court for $10. I am petty like that, and I would never. I took them back for $10, and I've never been back there. I don't play that. I'm serious with my boycott and stuff, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Only thing I can't boycott Cracker Barrel.
Oh.
Nah.
Okay, now look here, fellas.
Leave them nice people alone over there.
I know y'all.
Just go right on over there.
I know y'all wrong.
Some nice folk over there at Cracker Barrel.
Leave them good white folk alone.
That's right. All the good.
Y'all sold us out for some food. Y'all sold us out for some soul food. But yo, I'm gonna tell you something. I know that's y'all spot. That's a very strange place to me. When I walk in, they got packages of now laters and lemon heads and rocking chairs and
then it feel like good out when you eat it feel like get out.
Yeah. It'd be like old board games.
Yo,
you know,
everything's made of wood in there too.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine wood and cotton.
Yeah.
All four of us are going to eat. We can go eating it, but four of us going to eat it for $20.
About $23. $23.
We tip a $5, but you give us more stuff.
I don't see why y'all don't like the Golden Corral.
No, I don't like that.
Hell no.
Really?
They got to get a nice little game. You know what I like Cracker Barrel? They put that little triangle game down there. You know,
not because of COVID anymore. It's gone.
Yeah. No game.
Yeah, COVID destroyed everything.
Yeah, you can't play that game.
See, y'all sold us out. They know exactly what it is. Y'all walking in, it's like, give them a free package of watermelon now laters and now be for life.
So tonight we have a special guest tonight, man. This brother's he started a lavish career from military, worked at NYP, he worked for the police department, fire department. He's an investor. He's invested in real estate and he also invests in stocks. So with further ado, Sammy Jammy, can you bring in our man Dwayne Kimbrough? What up, man?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Oh, there you go.
What's going on?
There you go. What's up, brother? How you feeling today, man?
Dwayne, how are you?
I'm good. Good. Nice to meet y'all. Glad to be here.
Nice to meet you, my brother.
What's happening?
So can you bring people up to date, give a little background on your story and everything so people can know who you are, and then we're gonna chop it up.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I was born down in Florida, Miami-Dade County, Florida, and then my family moved up to New York. Probably about like in 1975, I was like 77. I was 5 years old. Moved up to New York. And then I went to school, private school, all in New York. And then from that point on, right out of school, I went straight to the military. Once I got out of service, I traveled all over Germany, did some time in Texas, then Seattle, Washington. And then from there, I moved back to New York, started working with the city, the medical examiner's office, then / NYPD. I collected evidence for the NYPD. Then I transferred over, took the fire department exam, transferred over to the fire department, did 10-year stint with the fire department, retired from there, kind of got an early retirement, retired from there. And then I started my real estate investing career.
That's what's up, man. Hey, anybody that confused you with Rick Ross? He's from Florida, brother. Said Dade County. Like,
you know what?
Yeah.
Let me say this. And first of all, again, thank you so much for coming on. To me, it sounds like you had a plan. And I don't say that to minimize it or say it with simplicity. That's one of the hardest things it is for us to do. It doesn't seem like you just stumbled on those things. It looked like you had a genuine plan of how you wanted to just move and maneuver in your career. Where did that come from, and how can you advise other people to try to make similar choices?
Well, I definitely. I mean, you hit it right on the head. I definitely had a plan. I could say that from an early age, I kind of wanted to make sure that I got my work career out of the way early. So I kind of retired early enough. And I said to myself when I was a young kid that, gosh, what career can give me the quickest retirement? And upon doing the research, growing up in New York City, I was like, hey, if I work for the city in one of those uniform services there, it's 20 and out, and I could still relatively retire as a young man. I retired close. I was going on to 40 when I retired. So wow. I wasn't even 40 when I retired. So, and I said, okay, once I did that, what's my second act? So I knew, from my father and my mother kind of disciplining me, that I knew that my second act was going to be entrepreneurship and having my own business, which is my real estate company that I have now. So I definitely had to have a plan without question.
Right. So let me ask you a question, Dwayne. So everybody want to be an entrepreneur and everybody wants to start doing investment. Can you tell us about the first time you ever invested and walk us through for some of the people that want to get started just like you, but they don't know how, and a lot of people might just be scared. Can you walk us through the first time you ever invested in real estate? Oh,
absolutely. Well, what happened is that I kind of stumbled into it at first. The first time with the real estate thing, I was working with the city, and I said to myself, I wanted to get me a house, buy me a house down south in Atlanta, because at the time my brother was down there. So I said, I want to go ahead and get in a house, so when I retire, that I have a house, the house to move into once I retire, 20 years from now. But what ended up happening is that I had some family members that needed a place to stay because they moved down to Atlanta. And I said, okay, and I give people advice, try not to move in family if you can, But, I said, okay, y'all. Exactly, right.
I don't want to finish the statement.
So I said, okay, y'all can move down there, and y'all pay the rent and, pay whatever, I just want to cover my mortgage. I didn't really care about doing anything else. So I said, just pay the mortgage. I think the mortgage was like maybe $1,100. It was a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. They were paying I think at first they were paying less than $1,100. They were paying like $1,000. So I only had about $100 to come out of my pocket. So I was like, that's cool. And then so when as time grew on, with family being in your place, they kind of wanted the family discount, and or I'll get you next week. And then it got to a point to where it was like, hey, you know what? I ain't getting no money. Y'all gonna have to go. And, it turned into a little spat, but at the end of the day, I kind of had to evict them. And then when I went through the whole process of evicting them, but then they ended up leaving. But while I was down there, I realized that, hey, there's other people out here. There's people here serving evictions for, complexes and multiple family homes. And I'm just down here with my one little house trying to get my family out. And, but it was kind of like at that point in time where I realized that, hey, this is an investment. you know? And I said, well, you know what? If I can do that with one, then I maybe need to get another one. And so that kind of like snowballed it for me, where I was like, okay, I'm an actual landlord now. I'm not just renting my house out or just letting somebody stay here. I'm an actual landlord. This could be a viable business. And that's when I started to study up on it more and just getting myself comfortable with it. And then eventually I ended up getting a really good tenant, and they stayed in the property, and they kept the property in great shape for almost 6 years, you know. Wow. And then, yeah. And at that point in time, I was kind of coming up on my retirement, and I said, you know what, I'm going to turn this into a full-fledged business. So I educated myself, figured out ways on how to get funding. Also working in the city, you have your pension money that you can withdraw to use to put for a down payment for a home. So I was able to do some of that, and it just kind of just grew from there. So I went from that one property, and I was investing out of this. I was investing in Atlanta. Most of my real estate was in Atlanta. So it was like, all right, let me start somewhere where I know. And I have folks down there already, people who can watch the property, people who can, help fix the property if things need to be done. I was still working as a fireman in New York, and I ended up with 2 more properties in Atlanta. But I had the right system. I had people to help me. So it kind of just took me from getting off the ledge and just going in full blast to where I'm at right now.
There are a lot of people right now who have gotten into flipping houses. And like with anything else, I think people think that you can get rich quick. What are some of the things you warn people about when it comes to trying to be a real estate investor?
That's a great question. What I tell people is that slow and steady wins the race. I mean, I'm not a flipper. I don't flip homes. I fix them. We buy the homes, renovate them. We buy the homes, we rehab them, we rent them. You know, so it's a process called the BRRRR process. That if you're familiar with real estate, is you buy it, you rehab it, you rent it, and then you refinance it. So you basically cashing the money out of what you put into it, but now you got a tenant in there, and they're renting the house, paying the mortgage, and then you're getting a return on your investment from that property. So that's the process that I use. I know people that do flipping, and that's great. But if you're doing flipping and even if you're using your cash or hard money, it's a much faster turnaround. So I mean, yeah, you can make a lot of money in flipping. I don't knock that. I flipped a few homes, but my bread and butter is pretty much buying the properties, holding them out, and renting them.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you a question. Do you put since you're out of state, do you put Section 8 tenants or any kind of program tenants, or do you have people that have regular jobs? What do you prefer?
Well, you always prefer the regular job people, but Section 8's been working really great for me. I just was speaking to somebody about it. I used to shy away from it in the beginning, but as I've been getting familiar with it over the last year or so, it's really been working great, especially during this pandemic. There was a lot of people.
It's recession-proof money.
It's recession-proof money, fellas. And I knew investors who would be like, I don't mess with Section 8. Nah, man, I don't do that. You know what? I mean, the checks kept rolling in, even when I had my people who were regular working, and they were like, I got laid off this month. That Section 8 continued to keep hitting. So during situations like this, absolutely, Section 8 definitely was a great investment tool for me.
Yeah. Wayne, let me ask you a question. You on a lot of social media?
I'm on social media, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, today on social media, there's a lot of, real estate investors and stuff like that. And there's just so much misinformation out there. Do you give lectures or do you give seminars to anybody that may be interested in learning the real estate business?
Well, great question. Currently, I'm actually setting up my office. I have like a office in one of my properties, and we're setting up an area where we're going to provide one-on-one counseling for people that are interested in investing, learning how to invest in real estate. but also I'm also setting up the way that I'm building up partnerships with anyone that wants to invest with me and my company. You know, so if you look at my shirt, I mean, like this is kind of like something that I agree with wholeheartedly. We need to start aligning. You know, so it's like us just putting money together, putting our resources together, and just building a strong foundation by just, you know, and it's when we align with each other, it's less work that we all got to do, you know. So that's kind of like what I've been preaching, is getting people more involved and getting people comfortable with real estate. But also, hey, if you're out there and you're ready, feel like you're ready, let's talk about it and let's build something together.
Wayne, did the Army, your military experience help you at any? And if it did, where did it help you at with regard to getting started in your, you know, as a homeowner and and renting in your real estate business?
Oh, absolutely. While I was serving in the military, you know, you learn your disciplines. And also was kind of good with me when I started in the military. I kind of learned how to save money. Basically putting money away, and I'm talking about as age 17, 18. I mean, I learned how to discipline myself to save enough money to where if it's something that I wanted to get, I saved enough money for it. So the military definitely taught me that. Working in uniform services, you build relationships with people, particularly in the fire department. The fire department, it is a brotherhood. So you build close relationships with people, and those close personal relationships can turn into business relationships. So a few of my guys who I worked with, we've invested in properties down here in Atlanta together. We currently have 3 projects going on. So absolutely, military, uniform services, building those relationships, it definitely helped me in my real estate career.
So Wayne, let me ask you a question. So people that you now you're boots on the ground, you're in Atlanta, not in New York anymore. So the people that want to invest in other cities, what are the pros and cons you think you should tell people, and how would they go? If somebody wanted to go to Wichita, Kansas, and to say, listen, I got me and my guys together, what would you tell them to do? First things.
Well, the first thing I would say is, if you're going to invest somewhere and it's not in your home city or where you live, you want to do your research. I invest all over, but I invest with doing my homework about that particular area that I'm going to invest in. And it really doesn't take a whole lot of research for what you can do. You know, I'll tell anybody, first of all, if you can't, well, first of all, you have to at least go visit the city. You know, you kind of look at the area and say, okay, this is a decent area where, okay, looks like it's getting gentrified. Look like there's people moving in. There's jobs. There's great jobs in the area.
Transportation.
What access you have to transportation? What kind of transportation is there? Those are the basics. If you're going to invest out of a city that's not your own, you're going to be remote. Jobs. What kind of jobs are being, or what kind of jobs are coming there? What kind of jobs are there? How's the transportation? Is it good public transportation? Is it access to the interstate? Those are the basic. Schools. What kind of school systems are in that area? You know, these are things you can actually just look online and find out. You know, You don't necessarily need to go there and do that. But those are the basics when you're looking for a property.
And I tell people this is why the census is so important. Companies look at the census to figure out if they're going to build business in the areas. How you just said, schools, business is going to come, stuff like that. So with the research, I tell people the census is super important for stuff like this.
Dwayne, there's one other thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, sorry. Now, a lot of things, no problem. Another thing is that information is public now. You can just do a Google search, or you can go to a city's website and find out what kind of projects that they're putting out there. If you see that they're building a Walmart, or they're building a Sam's Club, or an Amazon, those are jobs, right? So, or whatever. And the city has the plans. They know this stuff 5 years in advance. It's all public record. You can go look it up. When you see that, then you'll say, okay, I want to buy a house right in that neighborhood, because you know why? Somebody who's going to be working at one of those companies is going to need a place to stay. They're going to need to rent. If they're moving, they're going to need a place to rent for a couple of years before they even buy. So I'm going to invest right there. It's the easiest thing in the world, and it's all right there for you to find out.
I wanted to ask a question about a different segment of your career. In the late 90s, the federal government sent a probe to New York regarding the FDNY. And it was interesting because they said the minorities weren't really represented. So they wanted to just see it from a federal standpoint. So we used to have this thing thinking that it would be just, our fire department was heavily Italian and heavily Irish and things. And it just seemed like it was a lot of nepotism and things like that. You getting into that, because I think it's a great job, especially for more young Black men and women to look into. People don't have an issue with the fire department like they do the police. People actually love the fire department, but it doesn't seem like we're as represented. What was some of the things that got you to go into it? And did you face any of those challenges?
Oh, great question. Absolutely. I came in to the fire department in 2000. Well, at first I was supposed to go in 2001, but then 9/11 happened. And so I stayed over at the NYPD medical examiners after 9/11. And then I transferred over to fire, but I got into the job in 2002. What you're talking about was they had a federal, it was a lawsuit being brought on from what was the Black Organization of Firefighters, which is the Vulcan Society, which I'm a member. I'm still a current member of, and they just were basically saying that, hey, that the job needed to diversify and hire more minorities. And it did. And what happened is that we ended up putting out a big push. I know that I was a part of it, in which we did a big recruitment drive, just going out. I mean, I hear some of you guys are from Long Island. A lot of firefighters are on Long Island, if you guys know that.
Yeah.
So we used to go out there. Yeah. Shout out to my boy, Cameron Peak. He's the chief, and Roosevelt. He was the chief of Roosevelt Fire Department. And me and him worked together in Harlem. And but we used to go out every day, man, just pushing this recruitment and trying to get more brothers and sisters on the job. It was massive. The numbers when I came on, it was like 10,000 firefighters on the job. Less than 300 were African American, and less than I think women. I think it was maybe like 13 females on the job, 13 African American females on a job of about 11,000 people. Yeah. Wow. Fast forward now, and I've been out of the job going on 10 years now. I think the numbers are at about, even though it's not, it could be a lot better, but the numbers, I think we're at about 1,000 African Americans on the job. And I think it's almost about 200 females. So like they did have to have a lawsuit, but the push worked. It's working. The numbers could be better, but it's definitely working.
Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah, I remember Vulcan Society as well, man. And you almost got me back then too. I came that close to checking it out. Then my father talked to me. Says, "Well, that's really good. They pay real well and anything." But he said, "But how do you like running into a burning building?"
That was my issue.
I thought about it. I said, yeah, I don't know. Every money, every dollar ain't a good dollar, I don't think.
It's not too many Black people that's comfortable when running into a burning building.
Yeah. Maybe
that was my issue with it.
I just want to check. I don't.
So Wayne, also, like when people start to do like they say, like say brothers are getting together, they want to invest in a property. How important is knowing your contractor and finding contractors stuff like that? How important is that?
Oh man, contractors and knowing your contractor, man, is probably one of the most key things into investing in real estate. Having a great contractor who knows what they're doing and is going to show up and help you get the project done. It took me a long time to, and I'm still doing it. I still evaluate contractors to this day, but it took me a while to manage my contractors Sometimes I do the contracting myself and hire people to do a project, because the most important thing is when you start a project, particularly a rehab, the most important thing is that you cannot stop. You have to finish that project. And whether rain, sleet, or snow, this contractor doesn't show or whatever, you have to continue to do that project. So you got to make sure that you got enough, your resources, your finances are in order, but you also got to make sure you got multiple contractors on deck. One falls short, you got to be able to go grab and pick up another. So that's the most important thing in this real estate thing, is having good contractors and workers. Absolutely.
So Wayne, years ago, I was actually looking at a property, and I'm to this day, I kind of feel like I didn't jump on it when I should have, but I know why I didn't. You mentioned the contractors. This would be a remote property. How did you find? And I know that you do this. How do you find good contractors in remote areas? How do you get them to do the work for you? And how do you do property management as well? In areas like this? How do you find out how to do that? When you're not in the area. When you're not in the area.
Yeah. Well, what I do is that, and I'm fortunate because I am retired. I can actually go to that particular location, and I could just, vet, kind of go on Angie's List, go on Craigslist, go on, I think it's called Home Advisors. That's another site that I use. And you'll find a list of contractors, of people who can do everything. I hang out at Home Depot a lot, and you hand out your cards and say, hey, you see people, vehicles ride by. Oh, here's my car. Hey, can I get a business card from you? So when you're out of town, you want to build those relationships, but there's also avenues that you can find online. Like I said, you have those home advisor sites, Angie's List, Craigslist, people that are contractors that they're advertising their services. You go there and you just negotiate. You know what you want. You negotiate prices with them on what you need. And then that's how you end up building that relationship with your contractors out of state, but particularly, like I said, I like to get on the ground and meet people, but sometimes that's not always possible. But going online and looking these people up, and you can check their rating. That's another thing too. You can check their business rating, how they're doing, what projects they did they run out on the job. That's good for those online web searches as well.
You've had good experiences with regard to that, because one of the things I'm just speaking for myself, I would wonder, and it's hard to do business with a person when you don't shake their hand, you can't really meet them, So how do you manage that? Do you just go strictly off of what you're seeing and call them up, and how do you build a rapport with them? Or I'm sure you call them, but how do you build that sort of rapport? What are the questions you're asking? How do you handle that?
Well, one thing that I do like to do if I have a major project that I want a major rehab, and sometimes this is particularly this works out of state, but I do it in state, is that I might have them come and do a smaller job. Like I may say, hey, you know what? Come knock. I got a bathroom I need you to come knock out for me, or something not too major, not a heavy thing, just so I can see how they are business wise. Do they show up on time? Have they done a good job for that? And then I'll be able to evaluate. Then I'll be able to take that evaluation and apply it to maybe a major job that I have. So If you can't handle the small stuff I give you, I'm sure not going to give you a major rehab that I'm going to be spending almost $100K on. And now you got me jammed up. So no, you got to evaluate these guys. The handshaking thing is important. Like I said, a small job here. You did good on that one, I'll give you something else, So it's baby steps, but you can evaluate people. Like I said, you can go online and see if I see somebody with some bad reviews or somebody like that, I really try not to mess with them.
Yeah, Dwayne, what kind of advice would you give to a person that's not really liquid for a lot of cash? How would you recommend to them that they start up?
Great question, brother. There's so many ways to get started in real estate. I mean, you don't have to start off as an investor, which is kind of like at the top of the chain of the real estate game, as a real estate investor. You can start off wholesaling. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I ended up
explain
wholesale. Explain wholesale.
Okay. Wholesaling in a nutshell is basically when you go out and you may find a property that's not listed on the MLS. All right, you find that, say it's your somebody family member has passed away and they want to get rid of this property or they want to sell it. What you do is you go and you take that contract, you'll sign that contract. You say, hey, look, I think in some states it's 30 days. I don't want to go crazy on it because I haven't done wholesaling in a while, but I think you got 30 days for that contract. You get it on the contract. Then what you do is you try to assign that contract to somebody. You basically look for an investor like me and say, hey, so say the family agreed to sell you the house for $20,000, right? You turn around and say to me, yo, I got a house I got a house for sale for $30,000. All right. So you basically bringing me deals, but you putting your money on top of it. Mm-hmm. Now, somebody like me, I know you're a wholesaler. I know you marked it up a little bit, but I ain't have to go look for it. And I know what my numbers are. You see, because in real estate, your numbers don't lie. So if I know my numbers are good, even at that 30,000, I'll probably shoot you down 5,000, but I know you got to get your money. So, but that's wholesaling as a nutshell. Just putting a house under contract and finding somebody else to take that house and assign that contract to, but you getting your money in the middle. You know what I'm saying? You put a little sugar on top for yourself.
And so in the financing, how do people like Rodney's question about people don't have enough liquid? Well, how can they go about getting the financing?
Well, there's different ways of getting financing. You know, you can go traditional, which is kind of like the harder way to go. Especially if your credit's not right, and you know, if your credit's not right, traditional loans are sometimes really not. It's not going to work for somebody in real estate. However, they have hard money. I was just speaking to a young lady today about it. It's hard money where they're going to charge you a higher rate, but you kind of get to get your feet wet in getting that property. I don't use a lot of hard money, but I have. But for somebody getting into it who's not as liquid, you can get hard money, or you can align yourself with somebody that does have the money to get the property. You can put sweat equity into it. You know, where if you don't have the money, you got the sweat. So you can go ahead and say, yo, I got the contractors, or I know how to do work myself. You know, I love to get somebody like that who say, hey, look, Dwayne, get this property for me, but I got people who can fix it up. I'll take care of them, and then we can take this property, we can flip it or do whatever. So for people who don't have money, that's typically or who are don't have a heavy liquid, that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm. I think Brad wrote something in the chat. I'm not sure. So Jamie, can you bring it up so Dwayne can see it?
Yeah, put together a projection model, which shows they have a potential income. Yeah, the property will help you. Is that true? Have you seen something like that?
Oh yeah. Well, you can put up a projection model where you want to kind of like say he's kind of like saying, what would this property generate before you get into the deal? So you'll know what it's kind of like knowing what your numbers are, even way before you even put that property on the contract. That's what I'm saying about your numbers, and not the numbers don't lie to you. You know what the numbers are off the rip. When you stick to your numbers in real estate, it's really hard to lose money if you know your numbers. So absolutely, you can put a projection and just say, hey, look, this is what this is. This is how this property we can get a return on this property, and you stick to your numbers. It's not gonna it ain't gonna fail you. It's never failed me as long as I stuck to my numbers.
Wait, I got two questions for you. How many properties do you currently own, and how many do you own with a team, and how many own separate by yourself?
Okay, I have 2 properties with a partner, and when I call properties, I like to say doors because I got multi.
Yeah, I know.
So I got 2 properties with a partner. I just sold 3. Those were mine. Those 3 I liquidated. I was doing a liquidation in 2020, and currently right now I have 20 doors for myself, and I have 2 with a partner.
Explain to everybody what doors mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay, great question. Doors are just units that are generating you income. So I have a 4-plex. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 4 doors, 4 tenants in that. I got a duplex. I got 2 duplexes. So that's another 4 doors. So that's 1, 2, 3. Those are units. Those are basically doors are just units. I have single family homes. I count them as doors as well. All together, it comes to 20 doors.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, and those doors, how many doors come into place is when you looking for like a property manager, because the more doors you have, the better deal you're going to be able to get.
Absolutely. So when you're dealing with a property manager, I just got rid of my property manager because I started to liquidate. So it was like I didn't need to pay them. It's particularly the properties that I have, and being that I'm in Atlanta, I wasn't in Atlanta full time over the last year. I was up in New York for about 7 months, and I had a property manager. So I liquidated some of the properties, and I didn't need the property manager. But basically, the more doors you have, the less, the better off, the better deal you can get with your property manager. So if you got 100, if you got 1 door, they're gonna charge you $100, to manage that property. But if you got 100 doors, you can be like, hey, look, I'll give you 50, $75 a door, but you're getting all 100 doors. You're getting to manage all 100 of my properties. So typically a property manager ain't gonna turn that down, because you're giving them 100 properties to manage.
Yeah. So my final question to you. So from your bio and everything, it says that you have a high interest in cryptocurrency. And I know this big thing like these NFT things or art is going on now, and those kind of investments, and whiskey, I believe, too. Can you tell people about that? Those 3?
Yeah. Now, my investment thing, other than real estate, I've just started investing in the stock market and in crypto. This has only been going on for about a year. If it was because of my real estate that I was able to actually dive into investing in the stock market, and I've been doing some day trading over the last year. So I'm up. I'm not as up as I should be, but I'm up. Crypto, that just started about maybe 3 months ago, where I started investing in. I'm still not knowing things about it, but I'm like, hey, too many people are making a lot of money, so I got to get in there. You can sideline, or you can get in there, and you can sideline. You can learn. You'll learn better if your money's involved, right? Yeah. So so that's what I did. I said, let me drop some money into this Bitcoin, and also the other thing, Ethereum. Ethereum. Yeah. I put some money in that, and trust me, I'm watching it every day. So, like I said, when you got your bread involved, you get involved.
Yeah.
So that's what I quick.
And
you're gonna learn quick. And then with the art thing, I've been going for about a year with art. I invest with it's this company called Masterworks, where you buy shares of art. And it's a great platform because it's art that you would never be able to afford. Like me, a person like me, I would never be able to buy a Picasso, or a Mona Lisa. But you can invest as a group in these pieces of artwork when they come out, and you basically sell them like shares the way you do on the stock market, but you have to let it mature, So that's my main art portfolio. I just bought a few other pieces for myself from some local artists and some other people, but that's my art thing as far as my art portfolio. And my whiskey, me and my brother, we invested in a whiskey company called Whiskey and Wealth, and they're based out of Scotland. And they sell barrels of whiskey, of aged whiskey, and you buy it and they hold it for you from anywhere between, you can't get it, and you can't get your whiskey for 3 years. So you got to leave it there for 3 years. And then they broker your whiskey for you to other dealers. So the longer they hold it, the longer they hold it, the more expensive it gets. And then they broker it for you. Or you can say, hey, look, send me my barrels after 5 years. You pay the shipping fee, they send you your barrels of whiskey, and you can go out, tag it, scan it, and sell it in liquor stores yourself.
Dwayne, let me ask you this question before you go, because a lot of people want to know this. You lived in the South, you lived in the Southwest, and you lived in New York. Do you have a top 5 rapper? That's what we want to know. Your top 5 rappers. You got to do it. That's what the people want to know. They know your expertise, but you lived all over. You lived in Europe. We want to know top 5 MCs of all time, not in any particular order.
Not in any particular order. Okay, gotta go with Chris. KRS. Gotta go with KRS.
That's real.
You gotta go with Nas. I gotta give it to Nas. Jay, you gotta give it to Jay-Z.
My man.
Just because I'm biased and because I'm pretty cool with him, I like Jadakiss.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Jada always Jada's a phenomenal. He's a beast. Yeah. First, people want to know about the whiskey again. Somebody put a question before you go. Can you bring up the whiskey company and how can they find it and stuff like that? Do the investment.
Okay, yeah, it's called Whiskey and Wealth. I actually got them right here. It's called Whiskey and Wealth. It's in whiskey. It's an investment club. There. It's called Whiskey and Wealth. It's an investment club based out of Scotland. I can hold this up right here. I guess maybe we'll do a little bit better. Whiskey and Wealth. They're based out of Scotland, and basically you're just investing in whiskey. It's an investment. It takes a while to mature. It's not something like you're going to do overnight. You have to allow the whiskey to age. My brother's a big whiskey connoisseur, so we were like, we always buying whiskey, so we might as well go and find somewhere we can buy whiskey and basically make, it'll be our own whiskey. They age it for you, they barrel it for you, you bottle it and sell it as your own when you get it, or they broker the barrels for you, so you can get a barrel whiskey that have about 200 liters, and they'll sell it for you. Wow!
So nobody's invested in Shan Pipple or nothing like that, or no Ripple. no Ripple investment, man. Come on, man. You know how we like our fruity drinks in the hood.
No Ripple. Oh man, I don't know, no Ripple, but yeah.
Dwayne, before you go, like, how can people find you? If brothers want to invest, sisters want to invest with you, man, how can they get at you, brother?
Yo, just my name right there on the screen at Airplane Wayne. That's my company here, APW 107 Enterprises LLC, or at Airplane Wayne.
That's Instagram, right?
Instagram, Facebook. I have a Twitter. It's all at Airplane Wayne. All at Airplane Wayne. And my company, APW 107 LLC. I'm based out. My company's out of Atlanta, but I'm investing all over the place, man.
That's what's up, brother. Yo, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for giving all the information to the people. Knowledge is power, brother. We love you, brother. Thanks for being safe, man, out there. And let's get to this bag together.
Absolutely. Definitely, fellas. Yeah. Nice seeing y'all, man. Definitely. I appreciate the interview. One love.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Take care, man. Keep getting that money.
On time. Jamie, take us to commercial break real quick, and we'll discuss after we come back.
Back after this.
I don't know, Jamie.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. Our brother Dwayne brought us the information. That was great, man. I hope this brother want to reach out. I think we got to practice this group economics. If we all got like a little, if it's 10 people, we all got $1,000. We got $10,000 to put down on the spot. So we can start from there, so we can start from there. And we don't know, and we can flip it. So we got to keep practicing that group economic stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I probably got about $20 I could throw in there.
All right, man. Listen. We don't put $20 on the weed, so put $20 on the door.
I want to say one thing that he said. I'll just tell everybody: you deal with Section 8, do your research. That's all I'm going to tell you. Do your research.
Yeah. Listen, I had a Section 8 tenant in my North Carolina place. It was actually worked out. When I got the white woman, I had to take her to court. I took white people to court twice. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling you,
D automatically think I'm talking about the natives. I'm just saying, Section 8.
I think some Section 8 people got a bad rep, man.
Yeah, you have to, you have to figure out. You've got to learn a lot of times to read people. All I'll say is this: having been a landlord, I'll just tell you this: do everything you can to scrutinize as much as you can before you let a person live in your house, especially if it's in New York.
Yeah,
New York is a tenant state.
Yeah. The thing is, the landlord tenant rules in New York. I mean, they're more in the favor of the tenant. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely,
hell yeah.
If you rent if you have a property out of state, you know what I'm saying? It's a totally different beast. But like, I've never had a Section 8 tenants. My tenants are market tenants. Market rate tenants. And to me, you gotta pick your poison. Do you want to do market tenants? You know what I mean? And then you feel like you got a better situation, or you want to do Section 8 and the money's guaranteed to be there every month. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But so far I've been good. My market tenants have been good, and I mean, I can't call it. I mean, it's a preference. You got to make your choice.
Yeah, I heard this.
D said earlier, Section 8 is recession proof. Like, you're guaranteed to get that money no matter what. That money's coming. It's going to be there every single month.
See, but that's 2
in the morning. Snapping my account.
Yeah, there's some like a lady who had a tenant and she's sleeping outside in her. She's basically homeless in the house that she's renting out, and the tenant's not paying any rent. And they can't get rid of her. She's sleeping out in the car. I read that somewhere maybe a couple months ago, man. When
you purchase property to hold and to rent, you definitely got to make sure that the landlord tenant laws are kind of more in your favor. Like you say, you get the wrong tenant in there, and you be out in the street.
New York, somebody stay in that place, do it the right way. They can stay there for 2 years without paying.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we'll go back to politics real quick. Auntie Maxine went after this. I almost said it. I'm gonna say the C word. Went after this after the Derik Chauvin trial. What do you guys thought about Auntie Maxine and a discussion with a GOP person? I'm not gonna mention his name.
I heard that you're talking about when during the trial, or this was after, because I remember that she said something during the trial and before we got to the
verdict, right.
Verdict, and people were saying, well, she shouldn't have said something. She shouldn't have said something, because it's going to affect the trial or affect the appeal.
I believe she said something.
They're trying to censor her.
Yeah, no, they're trying to censor her.
If we don't get the results we want, then we're more confrontational. We're gonna have to be more confrontational if we don't get the results we want. We're gonna, she said something like that. The judge made a statement saying that when elected officials speak, they feel that it kind of can slant the case. So he thought it could be grounds for a mistrial, which I thought was a little excessive. I didn't know. When it comes to someone like Maxine Waters, who has served, comes someone who was in their 80s, someone who has been through the civil rights movement, has seen a lot of injustice in years of that. I just think they have a right to say what they feel. And I think one thing I've always been taught, you live enough life and put enough equity into this life and survive enough, and you have a right to just put your opinion out there unapologetically. And that's it. For everything Maxine Waters has seen with her eyes, go right out there and say it. And she's not saying it for herself. She's lived the better part of her life. She's saying it for the generations that's going to follow. And I had no problem with it.
Yeah, I agree. I got no problem with what Maxine Waters said or did. I think she's gangster. I think she is fearless. She says what she want to say.
Shut your mouth.
I love when she told. I love when she told Jim Jordan to shut your mouth. I love that. They got pretty upset because the black woman's not supposed to tell a white man to shut his mouth. But I want to explain something about this appeal thing, right? People that go through trials are entitled to appeals. So the thing is, and I agree with what Kelvin said. I think the judge was a little excessive by making that statement or whatever, because whether Maxine Waters said it or not, he's entitled to an appeal. Whether he's granted one is another story, but he's entitled to an appeal.
So you don't think it affects the practicality? Like there's no practicality involved?
No, okay, like, no practicality.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think basically, he was found guilty because he put his knee on the man's neck and he killed him. That's what I think. So I don't think Maxine Waters, for them to try to throw that on Maxine Waters, I think that's nonsense. It's nonsense. We basically saw a man kill another man on national television, and the man was a police officer. That's just insane.
Mm-hmm. So
I'll tell you one thing: if he did it to a dog, he'd have been in jail quicker.
He wouldn't have had a trial. They wouldn't have gave him a trial.
Ask Michael Vick. Michael Vick.
Right. So also some good news. In Manhattan DA's office said it will no longer prosecute prostitution here in New York City. Listen. If they want to sell it, if people want to buy it,
it's none of our business.
None of our business.
Yeah, so
let it be. Oldest profession in the world, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Are they gonna tax it?
Oh,
that's the real question. What are we gonna do with insurance?
Yeah, you're gonna have to insure.
What if they're not gonna prosecute? I don't know if it's a business yet. It's just not gonna prosecute these cases.
So you tell me prostitution is no longer against the law?
They say they're not going to prosecute the cases anymore. That doesn't mean it's not against the law.
Not against the law. They're not going to prosecute the cases.
So if someone does it, then what does that mean?
That means it's going to be thrown out.
So then it's not.
I guess they use it when it's convenient for them.
Yeah, I guess they probably be a slap on the wrist or mine. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Listen, man. If somebody will sell it, man, let them be, man. As long as there ain't no pimping, no hardcore crazy stuff going on with it, let it be.
Right? I do think we are opening a kind of a Pandora's box against everything is just kind of relaxed and changing everything. I mean, I don't know why people don't act like diseases and stuff are still out here and stuff like that. Maybe I didn't get the memo, but like I don't even hear nobody mention HIV no more. It's like playing out, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, and we always talk about this mental health stuff. There's something that's with a person that feels the need sometimes to, prostitute yourself. I mean, there's extenuating circumstances, but I mean, that's kind of frightening too. I mean, from a community standpoint, I just don't see the value in doing that. The great thing about it, but I know what Dee is saying.
Listen, some of my best friends are strippers and women of the night. Listen, the good people. Like the funny thing is, they practice more safe sex than regular kids out here in the street.
It's just like when you was little and it was raining. Didn't your mother tell you to put your raincoat on before you go outside? You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, when you're in the business of that, you're going to be more extremely careful because if something happens to you, you're out of business.
Yeah, you must. Yeah, that's your business.
That's your business. Your box is your business. You got to keep that box clean.
Yeah, but now if the insurance companies have to keep paying out because of health issues, then what does that do?
Well, what they'll probably have them do is come in and do physicals regularly. They got to check. They got to check the box. Like you go to your mechanic and get your inspection.
Right.
Yeah. Listen,
finish your license.
Hey, the transmission be moving, so
sometimes the transmission be slipping. You gotta go in there and get it serviced.
Get a little oil.
Yeah.
A little filter.
But I don't trust all this stuff. All this empty out the jails, let everybody do whatever, all this stuff like that. I don't know. I don't trust it. It's something about this that seems like there's, you always wonder what the ultimate agenda is. You know what I'm saying? And
money.
Something seems right. I'm just wondering how it plays out, because they have to get something out of it too. So I don't know.
That's why I said that they're going to tax it.
Let me just say this to all the young ladies watching: we at Let's Chop It Up don't endorse prostitution. We're not trying to judge nobody. We just go to school, get a library card.
Somebody needs to speak for themselves. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, in Greensboro zoning commission was removed. Commissioner was removed from the board and accountable because he refused to call his sister doctor. I wish we had the video. I don't know if we do, but I wish we did have the video. He would not call his sister doctor, would not address her. And this goes back to the times when they used to call us boy and girl instead of giving our names. Like, we'll never say mister. So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
You got to put some respect on her name, man. She put in the time and everything, and she had the proper discipline, and she put that in, man. It's there for a reason, man. Respect that lady, man. Put some respect on her name. Give her a proper title, man. Just cut it out, man. And you know where it's coming from. You know where it's coming from. It's that good old boy stuff, But at some point, man, we gotta get past that, man. Somebody's gotta really disrespect him or something. I don't know what to do about it. But
well, she should have called him a name that he didn't want to be called out in the open. She should have called him Klansman. That's what she should have did.
Right, give him his proper title. Don't you know your name?
Yeah, give him his proper title.
Right,
Because the thing is, this woman has earned her doctorate. She's deserved to be called doctor. She was requesting to be called doctor, and he was very adamant about not calling her doctor.
Right.
It was a blatant display of disrespect.
Yes,
right.
But he was fired. He was fired for this, right?
Yeah, he should have been.
Absolutely.
You gotta let people know, let them know who you are. I was in a meeting this week with my coworker Annie, and this guy kept talking over, and she said, "Listen, I don't like being cut short." She went straight at him, told him, "It was a white gentleman," because they always think they could bowl guard you and stuff like this. I texted her on the side, like, "Reclaim your time," and she went in on him, and that's what you have to do. And it piped him down because they always think they rule everything and try to dominate. Like, no, this is not going to happen anymore, man. It's not your time anymore. Y'all about to fade out 2035, baby. Countdown. The countdown is on for you.
Fade to black.
Fade to black, baby.
Fade to black.
Fade to black. It's gonna be black and brown around here. Y'all gonna be tight.
All black, everything.
And for the record, we're not gonna harm y'all. We just want to be left alone. We're not y'all. We're not gonna repeat what y'all did to everyone else on this planet. Just want to tell y'all, 2035. Just be prepared. That's all. But now this is what I want to get to, the fun part before we go. We only got a few minutes before we wrap up. Clubhouse and all these other apps, these people, these women, I think don't know what they want. Sorry, let me go back. Kevin Samuels, I have to apologize. And all these other guys, I'm not saying y'all fuck boys no more. I'm really convinced women don't know what the fuck they want. I absolutely don't know what they want. I had a scenario where a young lady hit me up, my friend hit me up and asked me, can I pair with one of my friends? I said, hey, you want to talk to an older man? I said, yeah, I wouldn't mind talking to her friend. Said, wouldn't mind talking to the older man. She had these things extended. Got to be religious. You got to have a certain amount of money. You got to be a certain height. You got to be a certain complexion. Fit the bill. Then I said, oh, got an older friend. She said, oh, I don't know older guys look like Nas. I said, bye.
She said she wants the guy to look like Nas. That's creepy.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, for older guy, but I'm like, these women, I swear to God, they don't know what they want. I think all these young, and I'm talking about like these 30-something-year-old millennials, whatever. I think they have this image of this guy with a Rick Ross beard, 6'5", a lot of money with a big package, and it's like some coldest winter ever type of dude they describing. And they find a good guy come right by him. Go ahead. Sorry.
So no. So she wants a man that looks like Nas. So she wants to get with a guy so she can pretend this man is Nas. That's what she wants to do.
I don't know. I think the whole thing wrapped up in is crazy, man. I don't get it, man.
Now I see where you're going with this, D. Like, I listen to Clubhouse sometimes myself, and I know there's also a thing that's trending too amongst women. This 6-figure thing. Like, everybody's got to make 6 figures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? First of all, 6 figures is very broad. We talking about 100,000, 500,000, 1,200. I mean, talk to me. The thing is, too, a guy making 6 figures. Last time I checked, that guy's got a lot of options.
Oh, tons.
He's got tons of options. You may not fit his criteria, but they're not taking that into consideration. All they care about is that he's got to make 6 figures. Like, to me, like, when it comes to money, right? Like, I worked with people. Predominantly, most of the people I work with were making 6 figures, and I can tell you that a lot of them was also broke. So now I also knew a gentleman that basically made like $40,000 a year, and he had like over a $200,000 portfolio.
Exactly, Damien.
So the thing is, Yeah. The thing is too, like, you know, do you just want a guy that has a job that makes 6 figures, or do you want to have somebody you can build with, you know, fall in love with, grow with, you know what I mean? Like, what happened to the days of all of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just getting crazy. And I'm gonna tell you another thing too. Say again.
I said Instagram happened to that.
Yeah, that's what Instagram happened to. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. The longer you sit back and wait for all these crazy criterias, and the lonelier you get, that list is gonna get real small at some point.
And you get to a certain point where they just give you free cats.
Yeah. You just gonna want a dude that's just breathing. That's gonna be the only criteria you're gonna have.
No, but you know, I think some of that has to do with you not really being happy with yourself also.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? No. I think that's part of it, not really knowing yourself and not really understanding the value of someone's integrity and their character. People don't understand that. There's something to be said about someone who genuinely loves you for you. Correct. Someone who really is willing to give 100% of themselves to you. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand that, and people don't value that. And I used to ask young ladies that I worked with years ago, like, what do you want from a man in a man? Like, what type of characteristics? And I realized they would name things that had nothing to do with characteristics. And so I think that has something to do with it.
No, they're you know, they're looking for, you know, a guy with some stability. I mean, I can respect the fact looking, you know, finding stability an attractive thing, you know. And maybe they look for a guy with 6 figure. Maybe that's, you know, that signifies, you know, signals a sense of stability. I would be more interested, if I were them, in how a man manages his money. You know what I mean? It's not what you make, it's what you keep. You
Correct.
Know what I mean? Right.
How much wealth you can build. That's what it's about.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And he's willing to share what he's willing to share with you. You know, he's willing to share his life with you and all of that. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think probably have a significant amount of women that just need to get past that point and just cop to see a larger picture.
Listen, they gotta understand this six figure thing. Like, you got guys that make 40 grand, got their shit together credit wise, and he got his mindset like, yes, I might be at this head job, but let's go buy this house together. We can, and like the brother just came on, we stack one house and we get another one. They don't understand that, like, the 40 grand job might just be our benefits job.
Right.
And a lot of young ladies don't see the potential in the guy. They're just like the music industry right now. Remember A&R, artists repertoire before, they used to help out, build the artists up, do all stuff, groom up the beat, to groom them up. They want the motherfucker to come self-made already. Microwave man. Let me give him a microwave man. He's there. Boom. And then you ask him, like, yo, what are you bringing to the dinner?
What are you bringing to the table yourself?
Table, yeah. But it's like they want this certain dude. They don't see potential dudes. You know, and they have all these things. I don't know. I think these chicks are confused as hell. And now I think a lot of them are going to wind up being lonely for the rest of their life. I swear to God.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, like, you know, I when I talk to my daughters, I always tell them about you meet a guy with potential. You know what I'm saying? Because that's about growth. I'm not the same man that when I first met my wife than I am today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is too, my wife motivates me. She keeps me going. Because I'm telling you right now, when my wife say, "Daddy, you the man," I believe her. You know what I'm saying?
You should say daddy or zaddy.
No, she say daddy. She say, "Daddy, you the man. You go out there and get that bag," and I go right out there and get it. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, well, believe it or not, you know, a real good woman can control your ego. She can either bring it down or she can boost it up. You know what I'm saying?
No. So much of what we do is for women.
Word.
And he doesn't anyone who want a mate who is happy with themselves or has peace of mind. And let me tell you something. A guy can have all the money in the world. If he's not happy with himself, he doesn't have peace of mind.
Correct.
You're going to be living in a living hell with him. You know, he may stick around where you might even let you, break you off a little bit here and there, but.
And that's another thing. Like what Kelvin said, if he was getting on Kelvin said, like, say if a guy make $250,000, like Rodney, you said earlier, he got mad options. Then he got hit and mad options, right? You know, and these girls with these millionaire dudes. You know, millionaire dudes got a lot of women.
Correct.
I don't know one millionaire dude don't have a lot of women.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
They got condoms. Like they have options. They
can put you in the queue.
Right word. Fly chicks out. He'll pay for the quiet.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I got 4 chicks. Y'all stay quiet. Y'all get condos.
And you got to realize too, because he has so many options. As soon as you do something that he doesn't like, you're off the list. You're done.
But you know, have you ever seen a dude that was not by society standards a good-looking dude and had a woman who looked, amazing, and people
His name is Little Wayne. His name is Little Wayne.
But you know what I thought? I found out is this. This is the thing. When somebody's really into you, when they're really into you, I've seen some women on the bus with a dude, and they've been into him. And so that person is into you. Like Rodney made a point. You could do things together,
Correct.
and there's a value in that. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, Monique.
You're stronger. You're stronger together. Like me and my wife always said that we're stronger together than we are apart. You know what I mean?
But let me ask you a question before I know we're trying to. So, do you think that they never had a blueprint? Like I told some people like this. My parents didn't have much, but it was a blueprint. They make a lot of money, but they had a blueprint. They was a blueprint of like, let's build something together. They started off with a garage apartment, had an apartment, got a house, sent my sister out of school, cars, all that kind of shit like that.
Yeah.
I think people don't want to build together. I think that's lost with this whole relationship now with the younger people, man.
Yeah. But that's not just relationship. That's across the board. Somebody like my grandfather did the same thing. My grandfather drove a truck for a living, but my grandmother made sure, like, listen, you bring home this amount of money, I will give you back everything that we don't have to spend bills on in our savings, and you could do what you want with that. And that meant he worked out. He could go buy liquor. He could go play his numbers. He did all the stuff that he did. She managed the house, and she made him take a vacation. They went to Europe, and they went on cruises and stuff like that. It worked for them. Today, there's a lot of posturing. So somebody wants to, not a car, I want a Lamborghini. Not this, I want a Bentley. Not this, I want, you know what I'm saying? So I want to get online. I want to concoct this whole, lifestyle that's not really mine and present it to the world. And that's what I want. And so there's a value in that. People feel like if you're attractive, then this is what you should get. If you are this is what you should get and stuff like that. And that's what messed us up. And the person that said about the reality shows, I think you're right. I really think you're right.
Those reality shows definitely played a role. They definitely play a role. Everything is about floss. Everything's about flossing too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's sad.
If you older people if you get on Clubhouse, try to help these young people understand. It's the young girls. Is the stuff. I'm not mad at Kevin Samuels no more. I'm sorry. I took it back. I'll take it back. All the things I said about the brother. I take it back about what I said about fuckboys. I'm taking it over. I just think they all confused and don't know what they want. The young ladies, but.
Anyhow, well, D, I mean, come on, D. They can't be all right or wrong. I mean,
Listen, I used to get on hard on the young men, man. We all men, bro. We men in there, and I got hard on them. But now after talking to some of these women, I'm like, these younger women, like,
it's a different day. We don't have the mothers from the South no more. We don't have the grandmothers from the South no more.
Yeah, Big Mama. We need Big Mama to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So anyway, brothers, man, this is a great show tonight, man. We had a great guest, Dwayne. You gotta follow that brother, get in touch with him, get in touch with Jamie. Jamie will put you in plug or plug one of us, and we'll get the information out to you. I think we really got to practice this group economics thing and get on this real estate game. That's the safest game for us laying. I think right now, I know everybody talking about robbing and all this other stuff. Get into this real estate game. People always need a place to live, and you can control your money, your destiny through real estate. So
that's right. And even if you're not looking to be a landlord, just be a homeowner.
That's it. Word up. That's it. Word up. All right, brothers. Peace. Love you guys. See you next week. Jamie, take us out.
Later.